In the meeting.
Betty on?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Oh, Betty.
All right, we'll call a meeting to order. Happy New Year.
New Year.
We didn't have a meeting in December, so I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes from November 7th.
So moved.
Greg had made a comment, and I believe it was changed in the minutes.
Yes, what happened is that I don't think that the well that you were talking about, the well is the old well. It's just that they put a data log in it, as I understand it. I think that's the case here. This, here's the, we have data from 2012 on the Wade Birch tennis court well.
I just passed it yesterday. I was in the area and I looked at it and I thought of you guys because I saw it around the side of the road. But you had the address correct. You have the address correct.
Yes. Yeah, that's, well, this is what, we've got this for 12 years now, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. I feel like the well was like a little bit further into the bird sanctuary and this was a new one that they put in.
Okay, you had.
But I think the way Greg described the way that Greg wanted to change it, fine. It's just acknowledging that we're getting readings from it, which is accurate. So
Am I the Greg that you're talking about? No.
Greg.
yeah, Greg Toner.
When did I see, when did we have this conversation other than now?
No, that you just said that you made a correction on the minutes, right? Am I missing something here?
No, I looked at the meeting, and it, when I heard the way it was described, it's, I know that there's an unused well down there that, we have been historic, for years. We don't use the data very much, but.
We're using it now.
Yeah.
So I think it's good. I think this correction.
Who ordered who ordered the well action putting?
Association board.
Okay.
We asked because we're interested to know what's going on in that area.
And it was, if you guys paid for a drilling,
As far as I know, we had no expense on that.
you had no expense, all right,
No
that means,
expense.
that means it's this well.
Yeah.
Because if they drilled a well, they would,
Yeah.
they'd send a check.
Anyway, on that note, any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
I can only give a 90% approval because I left at the last 10% of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay. You've done well. You got something in there. So
You missed the best part of the meeting, too.
Yeah.
the end of it. I did not pull the trigger on this HOA meeting because we didn't have a meeting last month, and I was like, I don't know who's going to be around, who's not going to be around.
Yeah.
Do we want to just pick a day, a special day instead of encumbering our regular meeting, or do you want to? We don't have that much going on.
What were you thinking?
Application wise, we could. Let's see. February's not great, because I don't think I'll be here. No.
You're in March.
So if we wanted to, like the
13? Oh, no, the 6th is our.
would we want to? A week away is too close, I think. I'm leaving on the 30th, so that's not good either. So to push it into, do you want to do a special meeting in March?
I think somebody said you're not.
But that's no reason to hold it up.
You're not here all March?
Correct.
And I'm not here in February until we could, unless we did it at the, that next,
You're here March, right?
the second.
I believe I am, yeah, but who knows?
February, the meeting's on the 6th, I think.
It's on the 6th, yeah.
Which I won't be here. We did the HOA meeting on the like the 20th? Would that be something that would work?
We have an association of towns that week, but we're back on Wednesday, so it's not.
All right, so let's, I'll reach out to everybody on that list that I have and see if the 20th works.
Yeah.
February 20th.
That's March 20th?
February.
February 20th.
February 20th, okay.
Seems like we're all gonna be here still.
I believe so.
That also
So
gives us
far.
like, that gives us like at least a month, so solid month.
Yeah, and that gives them a month, you know, if they, you know, something.
President's Day,
And it'll be a Zoom thing for them,
Yeah.
if they want it, or they can come. All right, so that's good. The memorandum of understanding with the Cornell Cooperative Extension, I mean,
I don't
we-
necessarily need to stand up unless you'd like me to. I
you
didn't.
you don't have to, I mean, you know, I have it, it's sort of like weird in the way it came in my email, but, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's essentially, you know, the seeding program, funding it for an understanding of, you know, each year, so it's not like, you know, hiccuping along, so that Cornell can depend on what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I believe, Amber, it was your idea, right? Or Meg's, one of yours, doing like 5-year chunks. So yeah, so to cover, just to get like retroactively cover 2024 seating and then going forward. So there was just like a couple things, CC, our side, they already like approved it. But I was like, wait, hold on, Shelter Island needs to approve first. So they already looked at like what I had submitted as a draft and they're like, it's fine, whatever you guys want to do. So yeah, there were just a couple details that I just wanted to, I had put in red, so,
Well, you wanna review those,
sure, it was just, you know, the obvious one of the date.
the date?
Of the memorandum of understanding is now going to be, I
It'll be now
guess,
January.
January 2025. And then just wanted to, like, you know, you guys a couple years ago, last year or 2 years ago, decided to bump up to $12,000, so just making
Right.
sure that you guys are cool with that number still. And then just wanted to make sure that for the 2024 to 2029 seasons was correct. I didn't know when you wanted to start the 5 years, and I don't know, it's up to
We
you
didn't pay for
guys.
24, right?
Right, correct.
So I guess why don't we just
2024 and
retroactively
then-
pay for that?
And then I had added in there, because we had talked about
What's
it.
the value?
The payment to be received by CC, ideally earlier in the year, so we know for sure what we're working with and for dispersing among the town. And then, yeah, I did add the, rather than specific species, like number of each species, I just said that a value of up to $25,000, just based off of, that's kind of been consistent over the last few years, once I looked at what we did see. So basically, it's continuing to do what we've been doing. And then by not saying specific numbers of specific species, it gives us a little flexibility for like, if we do have
What does well
massive-
on a good year?
a massive die-off of one species, we can make up the difference in another, or vice, you know, gives us some little flexibility. And also threw in there that by December 31st, I'd be here to give a little annual report, because you guys seem to really enjoy that.
Always.
And then, yeah, the agreement commencing,
So
yeah, just
when ideally, does it say in here when you would like the payment?
August 1st.
August.
That's just, I had asked Mike, the hatchery manager, and that was the date he threw out, so it's okay.
Pay at the beginning of
Yeah,
every
I got
year.
it.
Or at the beginning, yeah, I'm like, I don't know, whatever you guys wanna do, we can change that. Oh, different pencil.
and it's 12,000 per year, correct?
Right, so right now, if we did what you're saying, we would pay $24,000.
Oh, you're right, I should say $12,000 annually,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the way it reads there, we'll give you $12,000 and we'll give you
Yeah.
29. What a deal.
You're right.
So you should say in consideration of the annual payment
Or annual payment, yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Some language that shows that it's each year anyway.
Now, speaking of language and, we're recommending to the town board that this be approved, right?
Yes,
So somebody will have to look at it again.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Who that is, I'm not sure, but
Yeah, the town board will look at it, and I think we'll do a public hearing on it. So, and that's why we're doing it for 5 years, so that we do one public
Right.
hearing, we're covered for the next 5 years.
Well,
I'm talking about attorney-wise. I mean, I
Oh,
guess
yes,
you'll
yes.
find somebody to look at it.
Oh, yeah, the interim town attorney.
Okay, all right.
So do we want to do 24 separately and do 5 years going forward?
I think that's been incorporated 24.
I think
It's
we
6
just haven't
years.
paid for 24 yet.
Yes,
But I mean, I'm okay with paying
Yeah.
my own feeling, to get it over with and so that we don't forget about it or something happens.
Right.
You pay in, the January,
Right.
of that year.
And that doesn't affect the budget or anything?
No.
No, because budget's
No,
done
it's-
earlier.
yeah. It's
Already being.
So you want to
Just-
change August to January, just for ease?
I mean, unless he had a reason, you said he just randomly threw out August 1st, I mean,
Because
okay.
that's, I don't know, yeah, actually, now that I think of it, because with warming waters, we've been starting to seed oysters earlier in the year, like that's been starting in July, so I don't know why he said August.
So,
Instead of
going,
January, I'd say like February, just so that way, because we're closing the old
Yeah.
year, getting the new year started,
Yeah,
to make it happen.
You dropped your pen. there.
yeah, I was hiding. February 1st, okay,
Or just say February.
February 28th.
oh.
Just that way.
Hello.
Whatever abstract.
unless it's a leap year.
Like,
Truly, yeah,
because it rotates every.
fair. Yeah,
Will this won't be able to be actually done then until February, right? This year.
and so then it would be.
We'd be paying the 2 payments in February this year, and then thereafter February.
Okay. And then this is where maybe the legal counsel, this is clearly not my wheelhouse. That last sentence, this agreement shall commence as of, before I put December 1st, 2024 to terminate December 31st, 2029, but so now I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have what date.
No moving
Yeah.
target.
Cool. I'm really proud of us working through this. I just wanted you guys to know that, it's like kind of hard to like the structure of program that has been in the works for decades, but know that like I am using this, like what we're doing here as a example for like going to Southampton and Southold, and so it makes me very proud to be able to point to Shell Drown like.
It's always nice to make
Shell Drown's
something
doing,
better that was
so-
already good.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
So
You wanna
I'll-
make a motion
I'll-
that we,
I make a motion, we recommend that the town board approve this as may be amended by town
council, a second?
I'll be second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
No, going good.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Betty, you can vote, I think.
Aye.
Thanks, Betty. All right, cool, thank you guys.
All right, you're very
I'll
welcome.
just make these edits and circle it back to you guys or Jess or, I don't know.
To Jess.
Okay,
And then she'll send it on to me and I'll.
all right, sounds good.
Right.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Okay. So the town board had discussion amongst themselves and they decided that they would not, change the criteria for when payment was made. So I thought we would just ask why and whatever.
This is about with the
This is about maybe
letter from the,
being able to, instead of waiting for the last covenant of the, a well thing or something, you know, before the green stamp can be given, which can be years, we said maybe to use this letter,
Right.
that
What
the,
other towns are doing.
which other towns are doing, and that's what the health department lady had said. But the town board
Yeah.
feels that they don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
so I presented it as, using the inspection, the final inspection completion letter in lieu of the green stamp. But there, other members of the town board said no, and so I don't know if you want to summarize.
We just had to, looking at it, we thought, why are we gonna complete something, pay for something before it's really done? Not really understanding it. Please, let me finish.
Sure.
So I went to the building department and asked them for an opinion, and they said, please don't do this. We'll be chasing people to close out the paperwork. Not to put the blame on them, but I gotta support the building department. I felt we need to support the building.
Right, I mean,
It would have presented a set of circumstances to them, that's all.
I'm not sure I agree with that, you know, I think it's more, you know, the portion that was complete, you know, well, you know, they'd have to fill in the septic registry and all that junk to get it, you know, but if they had a issue with their well, which is probably the most usual thing,
That's usually what happens.
you know, and they can't get the green stamp because the well needs the covenant, and the covenant takes, you know, sometimes a year or more to get, or maybe other circumstances, you know, they need to get treatment or whatever it is. You know, people are just waiting, you know.
Let me go back, James, and get specific. All right, let me have another discussion.
Okay.
Do you pull a permit to get a well drilled? Building permit?
You don't get, you have to go to the health department to.
Yeah,
To do
so
that.
that's not a building department issue. Do you have to get a building permit to put the IA system in the ground?
No. You do need, you know, if it has electric and stuff like that.
Well, it all has electric.
But it doesn't necessarily trigger a building permit. So I don't think there's a permit that you get from the building department.
Yeah, so then what is the building department's issue?
I will get a list, 2 weeks. I will get specific information.
Okay.
I didn't, it was cursory information, cursory discussion.
You know, and they may be thinking in terms of new builds, you
Yeah,
know, and what it means to them for a new build, as opposed to someone who's voluntarily changing their existing septic.
Right, because those people aren't gonna get the grant.
Right, they're not gonna get the
That's a good point,
grant,
yeah.
right?
yeah, it has nothing to do, right, has nothing to do with
I think they
new builds.
They know that.
Yeah, well,
But then
you know,
they're
like,
not involved.
maybe leave it open for further discussion, because it seems to make sense. You know, just from my own experience going through this. You know, we're gonna talk about that in a short order, but.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think from our standpoint, and, you know, you guys can correct me if I have this wrong, I says, you know, we're trying to make it easier and to get more units in the ground that are going to be keeping the water cleaner. And, you know, it just takes one person or, you know, and one person saying, hey, you know, it's, you know, I've been sitting here, you know, the guy's like hounding me for money. The fact that we were talking about having two exceptions, where right now we're talking about the green stamp. And exceptions was gonna be, number one, and I think this is already in there, if this is a rebate for an emergency replacement, please submit a copy of the design notice letter from the Suffolk County Department of Health Services wastewater management, or if the Suffolk County Department of Health Services Office of Ecology has issued county and state checks to vendors based on an inspection certificate letter, please submit a copy of this letter. So that would be helpful. I don't know whether or not you had this in hand, if you have seen this.
Which one is that?
This is the draft of the changes.
Oh, no, I didn't. I had just what was posted on the website. And I had highlighted for everybody where we reference green stamp.
Maybe this is then what's on, I don't know whether or not this is on the website.
No, that wouldn't be if it's the draft, I don't think.
Yes, yeah,
Well, it might be in the minutes, but.
yes. So, I mean, I think.
I think I understand, I understand, I get it, I have no problem with it. I had a cursory discussion with the building department.
Okay,
I'll go back.
Maybe that's where you went for, Albert.
What's that?
Maybe that's where you went for. Since they're actually not involved, sounds to me like they're not involved.
well, I think what we should do is,
Never involved.
let's not try and, let's not spend too much time on it tonight. The thing to do is to, maybe one of us, and Albert, I'll be happy to go there with you, and I'll bring the information that we were changing.
Sure.
And the idea is that, we're not putting units in at the rate that we had hoped. And the concept is that this may help, that's why we're talking.
Among other things, this is one little change that we
Sure,
thought.
no, I
Yeah,
understand.
all right. So over the next 6 or 8 months, let's figure out when we can get to the building department.
All right, well, thank you. Okay, as we've seen, Julia has gotten,
Oh, we did the two, yeah.
the two things on the
Yeah, we
website.
finally got it up on the website,
Yeah.
so it ran in December. Hopefully, did you see it?
I
Did you
did,
see our little plug for IAs? Okay, so we had, actually, if Kate's left, but her husband was the
yes,
second.
yeah, I saw that.
Her family is the second people highlighted
saw
in
both
the
of them.
video.
Who did the interview?
Yeah, so Tim Sheehan did the one in January, and the previous one was Patterson. I can't remember his first name right now. Burns Patterson from Silver Beach. So his interview ran in December, and we ran them about 2 to 3 weeks apart. And we had a link to our website and how to do the grants, and of course, their spiel was wonderful and very short but effective.
Yeah.
I got some comments, people looked at it.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. I have another one on deck.
Oh, good.
I'm interviewing somebody else now too, so I have another one to go in like 2 weeks.
Good. All right, that's great. Amber, as she said, there were no real disbursements for this past month, so the financial report hasn't changed. But we did want to maybe go through to try to weed out some of the dead wood on the rebate hold.
So what I handed out is a list of the, 36, I believe it is. Yeah, 36 grants that are out there. So I did this quickly just before the meeting. So the columns are, the first date column is WQI approved. The second date is when the town board approved. And at one point, we were tracking when grants expire. So that's what that third date column is that doesn't have. So you can see that the town board approved, some of these go back to 2018 and 19. So we may want to circle back to some of the older ones to say, hey, you got this grant, like, are you ever gonna, are you considering pursuing it? Because I remember Jacob's Walker on here, at the time, there was still the IRS issue. And so they had said, we're still interested, but we want that to be resolved. Now it has been resolved, so, a couple of years ago, so are they working their way through the process and we just don't know about it? So do we want to send letters?
I think it's a great idea
Yeah.
to send the letter out and to see who's still in the game and who has,
There are at least two neighbors of mine
gone
on
to
here.
the showers.
I can recognize that they put it in the ground.
And-
Really?
Yeah, there's at least 2 people I personally know on his, that the system's in the ground, so,
Me too.
oh, yours isn't, well, I know you too, but I was actually thinking of some, so there's 2, Amber, definitely on the list that, it was put in the ground within the last, Armbrush was done about 2 months ago, and Galley just finished up.
Yeah, and those ones are more recent, so I think I'm granting the rebates for 2 years. So just go back through and figure out which ones are expired and just reach out to those ones. Because yeah, the newer ones could be a process. And then there's also the possibility that someone
Sold.
sold, yeah, I think I see like Cast on here. I do.
Cast, yeah, Cast on West, I
So that
guess,
should be
yeah,
taken off.
yeah.
I think Eddie was taken, I'm surprised to see it on here. Wasn't that, I think they,
was this?
we,
Didn't qualify.
you couldn't, they didn't qualify because they were like doubling the size of the house. It's just Eddie.
Hey,
If it, yeah.
Also Lang was new, we just did that one, that was,
Yeah,
I did that
Eddie
one,
was
actually.
approved in October.
yeah.
Which
I did
was?
that one.
Eddie was approved in October.
Eddie.
Uh,
Oh.
I'm surprised to hear that, but it could be time is,
No, it's supposed to be no, right, Jessica?
Sewell was a denial.
Sewell was a denial?
Oh, maybe we have the wrong name.
Don't think Eddie was.
if it's the Eddie that I did, I don't remember them being accepted. So that didn't, it was a massive increase in property. And Happy Groundhog,
Oh, that's,
I thought
that was something that was aberration.
Yeah, I feel like that one, but it's still on the running active list, so we just need to pull it off and release those
Right.
funds.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that we determined that, I don't think we approved it for the, or maybe we approved some of it for the cottages. We'll have to go
I
back.
think it
while.
sort of got out of our control on that one.
Yeah,
Eddie did.
and,
And there was Mixie and Sherman Eddy on 15 South Midway Road.
Oh, right, that one is different than, there's another Eddie.
there's another Eddie?
Yeah, they're related to them,
Okay.
I think. Anyway,
Thank God there's no Clarks or Dickersons on it.
and the latest one I saw that came today,
The new one.
that is for Betty, it looks to me like that's a non-starter as well. Because it's a office, a real estate office that they're changing into a house. So,
Change of use.
that's on 114?
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
it was Georgiana's old office.
yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be, that, it was, living and
Growth.
doing the whole schmear, where it
Yeah.
was just an office, so I think that would not qualify.
It's interesting though, isn't it? A conversion.
Oh, they're not expanding it.
No, but there was no sleeping rooms there before.
It was a house, wasn't it?
It
No,
was an office.
office,
Built as an office?
yeah.
Oh, so they're doing a total renovation.
Change of use. I mean, it went going from this office to a little cottage.
So is that considered new construction?
Pardon me?
Is that considered new construction?
No, but it's taking something that wasn't being used as I mean, this is my interpretation of it, as a place where people are living, and now changing it to that, changing it from somebody who would, come in and have coffee break, to a place that has a washer and a dryer and a kitchen and, bathtubs and whatever.
So the one thing, it is a first time that we've run it. I don't recall anything like this before, anyway.
I think there was I think there, in the change of changing it, I think there were, because, somebody I know looked at that house or looked at the building to do this, and I think there was some mandate to put the IA system in.
As part of the change of use, maybe.
Yeah.
Right, because you got to go get.
So I think there was something mandated, so I don't want to give these people any problems, but I think I don't think it's a grantable thing.
Well, we do have the opportunity that Catherine Hochul, the governor, did sign the revision, that last revision, I think on about the 20th of December or so. And so in about 90 days, there's going to be the committee of 14 that we would go to and ask and say, what do you guys think about this situation?
I don't know how much thinking we have to do about it.
And then they would have to presumably go to their lawyer, because they're supposed to have a lawyer that advises them.
But we don't-
To me, I don't know, if we have a problem, I don't have a problem, I think it's pretty clear cut, but, you know, if the majority of us have a problem with it, then.
If they had to go to the health department, which they would have to do, because if you went from an office occupancy to a residential occupancy, you have to upgrade the system. It's sort of like a new build, in the sense that,
Well, you're increasing the design flow on a piece of property that, you know,
Right,
was
because
not being used that way.
In the past, you had probably maybe one, maybe two bathrooms for customers coming in, and now you're gonna have people using it all the time. It's a difference between
You're
coming
living
in,
there.
use the toilet, and now you're showering, and like you said, washing and all that other stuff. But can I just offer that, we just got it for Betty, so maybe, like, we should just wait and then discuss it, like, at the next, we probably
Right.
shouldn't be discussing it now, because we
We
haven't.
probably shouldn't be, but I mean, I'm just trying to, you know, maybe cut to, you know,
Oh,
like
cut to
save
it so we
time. But
Well,
I'll let
Betty can ask
Betty,
them
you can
about-
review it.
she can go to the building department too and find out about what.
well, she's not
Thanks. Thanks, James.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, I'll do it.
Okay.
You'll do what? I'm sorry. I didn't hear you.
Application.
I'll do that application.
Okay. I'd appreciate it since, you know, I'm
It's gonna be hard
the
if you're not
newest
here.
person around and don't know, not quite sure. I mean, to me, this would be like a new construction, basically,
yes.
I think the same thing.
Yeah, similar.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
are they increasing the square footage?
That's unknown, I don't know.
I don't know that they are, but even if they didn't, I don't know that it matters, you know?
They're doing essentially a 100% renovation of the house, which is like a new construction.
Right. Well, I mean, actually, the thing was pretty nice as it was, you know, all they needed to do was put a kitchen in it and, you know, like, I mean, for some people it wouldn't have been good at all.
Right.
But, you know, it could have worked for the right person. Anyway, I'll dig into it and see what's going on. Dalton. Okay,
So, James,
Yes.
not to beat a dead horse, but so your daughter's IA system still it's in the ground.
oh, it's done, you know, and we have the green stamp.
Oh, you finally got the greens.
We have the green stamp.
Only 6 years later.
Well, it had to do with the well.
Yeah, well.
Finally, all's well. So to speak.
No pun.
All right, old business, any old business? I mean, the only old business that I know of, you may be aware that Fresh Pond got this grant for
I don't know that.
$260,000 from New York State. And there's a matching component to it, of which I understand that the homeowners have said that they would cover 50% of that. I don't know this for a fact, but I could see them coming to us for some funds to cover that last part of it.
This is why you skipped going to the Lions meeting tonight, huh?
That's why I did. Well,
No,
I mean, Peter likes to talk.
yeah.
So I figured it would be better that he went there. Anyway, even if it wasn't a meeting tonight. But, you know, he'll be soliciting, you know, but I think, you know, the property owners have raised, you know, pretty good chunk so far of the of the uncovered 25% portion of it. So that's good. And they're still committed to doing that cleanup as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a request from them.
Right.
New business, any other old business that we should talk about? Any new business that anybody
I got nothing.
in the audience, Ms. Waldebauer?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. I'd put on my video, but I think someone took that option away. I appreciate everybody, listening to our situation in terms of the green stamp approval. I've been working behind the scenes. Amber has been very responsive, and I appreciate that. My husband and I appreciate that. He'd be here, but our boys just finished a very important varsity basketball game against Southampton. We are, first of all, I want you to know my husband actually is a certified building inspector. He works for the Village of Patchogue. So hearing that the building department, would be anxious over the fact that homeowners would never finish their projects, I feel like something, measures could be put into place, forms could be signed, to get around that. I think that's, we definitely would follow through on getting the green stamp and moving our well. The problem is that we don't have the funding to do so. And that's our situation. And I know it's unfortunate, and I'm sorry to, be here to say that, but at the end of the day, we had so far, let's see, $18,500 in out-of-pocket expenses. And, did the best we could. We jumped on the grants early to try and do the right thing, for our long-term family situation and for the environment. It's a very complicated process. We got the Suffolk grant and the state grant much more quickly and easier than the Shelter Island Town grant, but we kept pursuing the whole project. I didn't realize at the end of the day that we weren't going to be able to put some of the out-of-pocket expense on a credit card, which a family of 4 and raising 2 teenagers on Long Island, we do our best to cover all of our expenses. I know we own 2 homes, but we are planning to sell our 1 home and move into Shelter Island permanently when the boys are out of school. So we really did this as an investment in our future, not to make money. We're certainly not making money, paying 2 mortgages. And even with some of the, we are a certified rental, even with some of the rental money that we make, it still doesn't cover the cost of both homes and maintaining everything. But we did decide to pursue this while we had the chance and while the grants were available. And I guess you could say we took a little bit of a chance, and we educated ourselves as much as possible. And at the end of the day, like I said, we ended up having $18,500 in out-of-pocket expenses. 16,000 that went to Shelter Island Town and Gravel, and 2,500 that went to the engineers. Those fees didn't come back to us in any way. They weren't built into anybody's proposal or anything like that. At this point, we do have a certified well. Everything's working fine. We have our letters. I know you've already discussed all that, and the possibility of accepting that as like other towns do to give out the grant money. But we do have still this 8,000, our estimate from Gregor to move our well was $8,000. So right now, we're struggling to recoup the 18.5 that we already did out of pocket. And we're wondering, where are we going to get this $8,000 to move the well and get the green stamp, hopefully, get that green stamp approval, and then be able to, we were, granted the 12,000 for the septic and the 4,000 for the well. So we understand that's, in time coming from the grants, but we have to, like I said, finish, as you know, finish that last piece to do so. So we're just at a little bit of a standstill, you know, hearing that it could take up to 6 years, you know, it's just, you know, we are kind of normal, average people who are just trying to do the right thing to help our family in the long run and help the environment. And it's something that we're struggling with. So I don't know if a hardship or some sort of exception can be made, we will sign any piece of paper stating that we promise that we would do the well. And obviously the grant money that we get back for the septic system that is certified and working and fully paid for, you know, we could then move that money toward the purchase of the well movement. So that's our situation. We are trying to, you know, we'd really like to just settle all of this. And we don't want to take up any more time of anybody. We understand time is important. But these out-of-pocket expenses, you know, we just can't do another 8,000 anytime soon. So then that puts us at a disadvantage in finishing this project and actually getting the green stamp. You know, you mentioned you wanted to try and make things more simple, more palatable to folks to do this and to switch over. And, you know, in this process, to be honest, the easiest part of this whole process has been dealing with the county and the federal government, which, can you imagine me saying that? You know, and I love Shelter Island with all my heart. That's why we want to move there permanently and make sure our home will and property will fit our growing family in the future, we hope. So, you know, it hasn't been easy. So anything that you can do to make things a little bit easier, either for, you know, the general public, people like us, or, you know, as a hardship in this particular case, we would really appreciate it so that we can finish this job. And we would never not finish this job. Like I said, my husband takes pride in his job as a building inspector. And we drive around Shelter Island and we drive around all over Suffolk County, and he points everything out that needs to be fixed and changed and completed. So this is, you know, something that we want to complete, and we're just asking, you know, for your help and your understanding in doing that. So thank you for listening to our situation. And we hope that we know you want to talk to the building department, probably gonna have to talk to the town again, you know, months and months could go by, and we are, you know, we took out a loan to pay off that 18.5. It's, you know, we're getting killed with interest. Maybe, I don't know if you're making interest in where your grant money is held. I don't know how that works. I'm not assuming. But, you know, we really could use some support to get this finished and get back in a better place financially. So thank you.
Well, that was much better said than anything that I could have said to Al to encourage him to look about this again.
And you know, we're gonna continue the discussion.
Of course.
I mean, I don't, you know, because I bring bad news, bearer of bad.
No, I know, but I mean, here's a great example of
I
why.
know, I understand, I just heard
Right.
her plea and her plight.
And that would help her $12,000 at least.
Did you check into the GAP grants that because I learned, I did some research on this when we were talking about like other ways that owners could, you know, find the money. And from my understanding, the group called CCDL, was it CCDLI? CDCLI, thank you. It's actually the same group that helped the town initially with the with their efforts to do affordable housing. I've heard that they offer some GAP loans for owners if they're thinking of doing the IA septic. I don't know if that's the loan that you're referring to that you got, but that's another resource. I don't know their criteria for eligibility, but if you go to the county website, they have apparently a link to theirs, so.
Ours as well.
Oh, we have it on ours too.
We have it on our well, that's, I think it's 3% though.
Yeah, thank you for, I have heard of that actually, and thank you for
CDCLI.
reminding me of that. Yeah.
Depend-
you know,
I'm not familiar with the economic.
I don't, again, I don't want to disclose all of my financial situation in public, but, you know, to be able to buy a home on Shelter Island as a second home, you know, we did take out loans, tapped into our retirements, we refinanced our home in Blue Point, you know, so we did take a risk and we did make a big investment, and I'm just trying not to continue to compound our debt, to be honest. So we're doing the best we can, but thank you for that suggestion. I appreciate it.
Then the only other thing I can think of is anecdotally, I dealt with the same well company that you did, and I don't know if some vendors maybe have more wiggle room or flexibility in terms of when can get their payment, can they get it directly from like the state or county? I know sometimes the people that install septics do, but in terms of the well companies, they won't do anything with your well unless they see the money. And I've been through it personally, so I had a problem with my own well, and it was either put up the money or you don't get water. So they will not wait for any check later, so unfortunately, that's how it goes, yeah.
That's good to know. You know, this is the first time that we're dealing with this, you know, particularly a well movement. I did just recently get a reference on a different company. I was going to try and, you know, get a second opinion.
Okay, that's good.
I was also planning to have the engineer, you know, and even Gregor back at the house to try and see if there's any way we can get around moving the well. So, you know, but, you know, these are things that I've been thinking about. So, you know, I appreciate that advice. We're trying.
The health department is the thing that mandated your well movement, right? So.
The Suffolk County, I believe, right?
Yep.
Is what was requiring
So,
to be
yeah.
up to their newest code. I believe.
Where's the house?
We're on 6 Community Drive. So we're between Nanette and Vivian and George.
Seems to me
That's fine.
there, it seems to me that water's easy to get there. It's not like one of those wells where you're gonna be taking mud out and everything, you know?
Yeah, I don't think.
Kraus was in the same community, the application, did they have any? I'm trying to remember that application.
There's a couple other well people out there that might have a lower cost.
Might work with us, you mean?
Yeah, they might be less money.
Right. Yeah, like I said, you know, I've heard that Gregor is the best. I've been asking around, but I did get another reference.
They're great. I mean, there's a company called North Shore Well that is, you know, very small, but, you know, if it's a straightforward well, they're pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. We have, you know, it's a small house and a big property, so there's a lot of, I guess, room, I think, to move. We had no problems, luckily, with the install in general. You know, I had mentioned that to Amber, so there were no complications. Everything went very smoothly. Everything, you know, once we got into it. So this is just the last piece that I'm hoping will get into place with, you know, relatively little issue as well. It's just a matter, again, of the cost of it. So, but I would be happy to take any references. I'm assuming the people you're mentioning are approved through the grant, you know, approved people, so that I could.
Well, the well people are not,
I don't
there's
know.
no criteria for them.
Yeah. But also there's one
I mean,
other,
they're approved by Suffolk County that put wells in, but.
there's a company in Southampton, Casola, I don't know, well, are they still?
Yeah.
Okay, so you could-
They're pretty big as well.
okay, you could try Casola, Casola.
Yeah, that was the reference that I just got, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, Casola was the one that we were.
Look for North Shore Well.
North Shore. Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks again. We really
Yeah.
appreciate your help.
Hopefully we can get things more streamlined.
Yeah.
Any other? Well, do we?
I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
Yes, I second it.
Thank you.
It's everybody.